Hey guys, it's Aiden. Today was a very sad day. I had logged on to see a good portion of my guild had switched servers and moved to Horde to form a new guild. A guild based on an elitist and or progressing content to a point beyond what our guild is currently meant for. Today, I want to talk to you guys about elitism and its effect it has on a guild or its guildies. Is it good for the game or is it toxic? Now, if you're watching this and start to feel targeted or angry, you could always message me, but I probably won't answer anyways. Okay. So a little backstory. My guild Vexed has been basically pushing content with me as a part of it since about midway through Legion, probably about beginning of Antorus. And from that, we became known as a more or less pushing guild. Like we would basically master heroic content, push some mythics, but we wouldn't really go farther than that, as we were mostly on an unpopulated server, which mine is Anvilmar, and at the time it was Undermine was the only other one before like the server like merge, I guess. So we weren't really known for being the best of raiding servers, but we were probably damn near peak top of what Anvilmar and Undermine held, with only guilds such as the Merge and other type guilds like that beating us out. And that was perfect for us because we were never really try hard, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love clearing content, getting loot as much as the next guy, but it's not to the point where I want to make myself unhappy or ruin my day because of it. And it was awesome. We would go in about every Tuesday and Wednesday for a couple hours, maybe about 3 to 4, clearing content, and however we got, we would do the next week. And it went relatively well, as the content you're seeing, I hopefully will put in the good stuff. The guild has never really gotten into a point where it was like, okay, we can't down this boss no matter what. The only time that ever really happened was when we started the Vexed heroic fight. That was a bitch. I will tell you that much. It was terrible. I mean, it took us, I'd probably say a good 100 tries or so before we even got to like, it was like 5%. It was really bad. It took us a long time to get it down. But once we got to that point, that was like our holy cow, there's something wrong here. And we fixed it. We didn't kick anyone. We didn't, remove people because their DPS wasn't high enough. And if it really did come to that point, it was like a, hey, step out while we get this fight down, and then maybe next time we come in, you can come in once we all know what we're doing. And that was pretty okay for everyone. I mean, we never really had people leaving the guild because they were unhappy. And from then on, it was really a good community. It was strong, and we finished Antorus. I think it was 3 mythic bosses down, something like that. I'm not sure what we did. And then beginning of BFA came around. I'd say probably a couple months before release of BFA. Vexed, our guild, had merged with, the Merge. I think their guild was Resurgence before that. I'm not sure, but we merged with them to create like a superpower guild that was like supposed to be pushing content mythic, getting some, realms first, all that type of thing. But that never really panned out, and they ended up not including any of us Vex players. They just basically put us on a sub roster and was like, you guys aren't as good as us, leave, and they kicked us out. So we decided that was a really stupid ass idea, and we moved back to Vex probably a couple months after that. And at this point I had taken a break. I wasn't really feeling like raiding at this time. I was pretty burnt out from Antorus, and I was kind of focusing on school and football at that point, as those are kind of more important. Then once I came back around August-ish is when I believe, I'm not sure, you don't quote me on it, but it was when it was Palace. Palace came out, I think, is when I first came back, and I was way behind. Like I was like at item level 170, and everyone else was at, breaking 400, which was, good at the time. So I needed to catch up some ground, and in doing that, I did, and I caught back up. And whenever we got into Nyalotha, I started streaming every single raid we'd go to, which I would probably put up some film right about now, depending on the fights. And it went really well. Nothing really too bad. I mean, it was pretty damn solid. It was okay. I completely just realized that I said Vexiona, guys. It wasn't Vexiona in Legion. I know that. It was Argus. It was Argus. Trust me. I know what I'm not a stupid ass. I know what I'm talking about. Anyways, ignore that. So then in BFA, we came around. I was streaming. We got to heroics. And then obviously, now I meant it. We got stuck on Vexiona. And we ended up clearing that all. Shut up. That's what I meant. So then by the time we got done with Nyalotha, we ended up getting exactly 3 of whatever it was, 12, I think, something like that. And we never got past that because we just didn't have the people, the numbers to push. Plus, people were burnt out. I mean, people were starting to leave the game. I myself included was thinking of leaving because I was like, you know, if Shadowlands is coming out soon, I got to be ready for it. And I just really didn't feel like doing it. And I stayed around until the very last second. And once we got to the point where we got basically to our peak, we quit and we're done. We're just done. And hopefully we can hit Shadowlands hard. Which brings us into our topic of elitism. Elitism? That's a word. That's where this starts coming in because we were going to push Shadowlands hard. I mean, we were going to, basically how we would do it in Antorus, we were going to do normally and Shadowlands, but that ended up proving that it would be very difficult. Such as when Shadowlands released and Castle came out, we were going to be pushing hard, but we really didn't want to just be elitist because we know there was a lot of people, such as the Merge, not throwing shots, that they were being really pushy, and we knew that there was no way we were going to beat the Merge because they have the numbers, they have the time, the people that really want to push mythics, and we just really didn't have. I mean, most of us didn't have the will to do that, including me. I really just didn't care for it. I love pushing content and feeling good when you kill a boss, but not to the point where I want to spend every waking second of my life doing it. But, you know, to them, they did. And we got normal down pretty easily. It took us probably a week just to get it down. And being also that we only raid 2 days a week for a couple hours. So we got it down a week, was pretty good. And then we pushed heroics. And pushed we did. It was getting to the point where my schedule was getting really tight. Because at this point I had tore my MPFL, had surgery, and basically was struggling to do everything, including school and physical therapy, on top of getting back into working out. And it was hectic, but we got it done. You know, we were pushing content and we were having a good time. But then it got to the point where we were hitting a wall. It was like no matter what we do, we just couldn't get it because there was either people messing up fights, or it was people not showing up, or it was tanks doing something wrong. Whatever it was there. Now, people were divided upon this. It was like people would blame this because we didn't have a disc priest, or myself included. I thought that I was being a drag down to the raid team because warriors are fucking terrible. I'm sorry to say it. You guys probably won't agree with me, but they are awful. When I first wrote the script to this video, it was 110. Yeah, it was January 10th is when I was doing this. Warriors were god awful. They were completely terrible, and they still are as of February 13th. Oh yeah, happy Valentine's Day, guys, because that's when I'll be posting this. But still, they're terrible. They do not do good single target. The only time they're useful is Mythic Plus, and even then, they're pretty scarce, you know. And it was getting to the point where I was not useful to the raid, and it was showing up in the DPS charts. Even though I had a 208 item level, I was still getting 2.9k on some fights, sustained over single target, and it was just really hurting seeing my numbers so low. But even then, there was other factors at hand, and whether it was people not showing up, I think was our biggest issue. A bunch of our regulars were starting to decline, and some broke off just to do PvP, and some just do Mythic Plus. But either way, raiding was seeming to be getting cut short. Which I'm going to take a break and talk about the original topic of this, which was elitism, because this is where it really starts hitting hard. We had basically a split raid team. This is where people were really divided. I was among the group who said we shouldn't push, we should just take it as we go and maybe do some pluses here and there to get people's gear up and see if we can help push then, or start doing normal so everyone gets the fights down, or start recruiting more. But other people were like, we really need to just push hard. We need to kick people out of the guild that weren't doing, not out of the guild, the raid team who weren't doing good, and basically become elitist to a guild that wasn't supposed to be elitist. And personally, I didn't really care so much because if it came to the point where I just couldn't show up, I just would say, hey, I can't come today. I'm sorry. I have stuff to do. Real life takes place. And I would have no problem with it. It was a couple weeks ago, I logged on and found out that my guild leader had taken him and 6 or 7 other people to the Horde. They had switched servers overnight without any prior notice or, meeting about it, and didn't tell the officer. And so a lot of us were just left behind. It was kind of a weird thing. I didn't know what to make out of it first, and they were offering that they wanted to take me to the Horde side, but I had personal ties here. I've been Alliance my entire life playing World of Warcraft. I have family, friends over on the Alliance that, I just don't see myself leaving. And don't get me wrong, and I know people are gonna watch this video that moved over to the Horde. I still love you guys. I mean, there's no amount of Horde switching, server switching, elitist pushing that can ruin a friendship over just a dumb game. But again, I have no issues with you guys. If you guys feel angry, targeted, message me. If it's serious, I'll answer you back. But again, I don't mean anything by this. Now, other people in the guild, they're quite opposite. They completely thought differently, that this was targeted. This was, you left, you abandoned us, you just didn't want us because you thought we were bad type of thing, and boom. Now, again, I was a shitty DPS with some, I have a very good DPS with a shit class. So I was, I wasn't hurt if I got kicked, because I wouldn't want to be with a terrible DPS anyways. A lot of of our officers who were there didn't get an invite over, didn't get told, they didn't request them to be there, who have been there for longer than me, 5, 6, 7 years, and they felt targeted, they felt hurt by it, they felt like, wow, you just left us in the dust. And so we decided that the Vexed guild was no longer our home. And so a couple days after them leaving, without any word being spoken to us, I officially decided to stay on the Alliance and stay with the Vexed guild, when 2, 3, 4, I think 4 of our other officers who originally were on Vexed, the only 4 officers, decided that they were not going to move, and they broke off and left Vexed guild a couple days after to form their own or join different. I was on the side for joining different because I know that maybe I can get into the merge and maybe get on one of their B teams, or play a lesser thing to push some little mythic, or just go somewhere else with some better people. But it came to me that no one's gonna take a warrior in Castle right now. There is really no reason other than attack power to bring a warrior. The officers and I talked, along with some other people from the guild, and decided that we were going to make our own guild. It was kind of my idea, because if you look up Vex in the dictionary, it more or less means bad, I guess. Kind of like that, but more or less the same thing. And so with my one of the actual GM right now, who is Tank Cervex, his name is Degenerate now on the Discord I'm looking at, but he decided that he was going to make his own guild, and we were going to recruit and take the people from Vex that want to go with us over, and the people who left, we were going to say goodbye to, no hard feelings, see ya. And we did that. We created, by his name, the Degenerates, because it's, Vex Degenerates, it's, it kind of goes hand in hand. So we made the guild, and I got promoted to an officer, which was an awesome boost. And so far, it's gone pretty damn well for a guild who, with a bunch of people, are still just weeks after leaving their guild for years. This is where it kind of got sticky. I'm going to leave personal names out of this, except for Tank, because he doesn't really care. He's not a softcock. But from this point on, I'll just refer to people as them or they or whatever I decide. Some of the officers from one of the officers from our guild had realized that she put in a lot of time and effort into gathering materials for flasks, potions, feasts, all that stuff, and that if we left their stuff in the guild bank, it would be unfair. As well as Tank had given money into the bank for just funding Vexed in general. Didn't have the exact same amount of the 6 million or whatever he put in there back. There was only like 1 million left in the guild bank after a while. So he realized he wasn't getting his money back. So one of the officers took the herbs that they felt was right that they took out and just put it in our guild bank, said goodbye, left the guild. Period. Now, I'm not here to say which is right. I don't want to pick sides. I don't want to be, oh, they deserved it. Oh, they deserved it. Because I have nothing to do with this. I wasn't an officer. I had no real personal connections to these guys other than the game. I mean, to each their own. If they want to talk about it, let them be. I'm not going to, say words for them. There was tension. There was people upset with each other, and, it was bad. Again, me personally, I don't give two shits. I mean, I'm still cool with a lot of the people from the old guild that choose to switch over, because at the end of the day, it's just a game, and when that's what they think is fun, then that's what they think is fun. I personally don't feel like playing 15 hours a day, pushing mythics, like some guilds do. The merch. Just kidding. I love you guys. No, I don't. Whatever. So, to each their own. I'm not going to say anything that bad about them because I really don't have anything to say. So, what this all ties into is elitism, being an elitist, whatever the words are. I feel like, personally, this is a really bad stain on the game for the people who aren't. Whether if you choose to be in a guild that doesn't do elitist type activities, that is just a casual content guild, then I say full send. Go ahead. And if that guild decides to move over, then yeah, they should make a separate guild. But I feel like purposely pushing elitist content on a guild that isn't elitist is just kind of wrong. And especially just kind of switching guilds, which was the real reason it pissed everyone off, was the fact that they had left without any prior notice or whatever, because I get the fact that they want to push content, that's what they want to do with the game. And if they were to have a meeting with the guild and say, hey, we're going to switch over. If you guys want to come with us, great. We would love you guys to come over and, be a part of it and just be pushing elite content, then by all means, I say that's fine. But in the way that they just kind of bailed was a little bit yikes. And a lot of people really disliked that, and it I guess for the officers, after a long-ass time playing with them, to feel, I guess, betrayed, if that's the right word, then I can get their reasoning upon it. But I think, like I said, I think just the entire elitism content in the game for people being forced to be an elitist is just something that really shouldn't be there. And I think elitism is a really bad stain on the game, period. There's guilds out there, Method and all them, who that's all they want to do, and that's fine. Join a guild like that, but it's just, I think it's just a really nasty stain in the game that doesn't need to be there. Now, I'm just going to say it one last time. I mean complete love for everyone mentioned or quote-unquote mentioned in this video. You guys know who you are. Again, no personal beef. I hope we're still cool. If you need to talk, DM me on Discord or Blizzard or whatever. Talk to me and we can, talk through it. That was a long-ass video. I'm sorry. I kind of went off there. I had a script for this and I didn't even use it. I will see you all later. You guys know that I love you long time. Goodbye.